GSFC. They just came out with their Q3 numbers, and while top line has grown by 30%, there has been a compression in the margins, which has caused the profits to decline to 98.9 crore rupees. We have with us Mr. V.D. Nanavaty, the ED for Finance and the CFO of the company. Mr. Nanavaty, thanks so much for joining in on ET Now. Throw some color on the Q3 numbers. I mean, fertilizer business, how was it, and what's the reason that you did see that compression come by in the margins?
Yeah, so overall top line, as you mentioned, grown by 30%, and fertilizer volume also grew by 20% during the quarter. We had a one-time tax write-back last year, 100 crore rupees, so that why it's shown PAT is lower this time, it seems, but rather it is a flat PAT, we can say.
Margin, sir, because the EBITDA, that's before the tax expenses, before the interest expenses, has still fallen, and because of that, the EBITDA margin too has come in at about 7.7% versus 10.5% in the corresponding quarter.
Yeah, so fertilizer margin were particularly compressed, as I have been saying from Q1, because the phosphate acid prices are high and the rupee-dollar exchange rate is also unfavorable. So that has resulted in the fertilizer margin under pressure. So that is the reason it is showing the EBITDA margin is little less.
Price is still higher. I mean, as you go into Q4, are you still seeing some pressure on the cost side?
Yeah, Q4 we assume there will be some relief because phosphate acid prices have a little bit reduced and the rupee is also appreciating compared to 74 rupees it went against dollar, now it's around 71. And so this will help in fertilizer margin in Q4. But industrial product, the crude is still weak, so it can oscillate on either side.
The last time we were chatting, you mentioned that DAP prices were raised. You were contemplating another similar hike. So what's the change in prices compared to the last quarter, and how much have costs increased in comparison?
No, the prices have been stable because DAP prices have substantially risen from, say, 22,000 rupees per ton to 28,000, 29,000 during the year. So market is no more able to absorb the price increase. So the last price increase was in November, and still farmers are turning to other products than DAP. So that is the situation. Cost in the last quarter, the phosphate acid price increased to $768. So that kept on increasing, but that is not substantiated by the price rise.
Okay. What about traction in the chemical business? What's the trend you saw in caprolactam prices? Because, how is even the rupee depreciation, did it affect the caprolactam benzene spreads?
Yeah, so the caprolactam benzene spread in Q3 was around $1,300, but it has started declining with crude softening in Q4. So it is expected around $1,000 to $1,150 during the Q4. And as rupee has appreciated, the realization in rupee term will also reduce. So it's a reverse than fertilizer, I would say.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Nanavaty, thanks so much for joining in on ET Now and helping us understand what went by in the third quarter. There was compression in the margins on account of the rise in prices. And hence, you did see profits as well getting a hit. Not to mention, of course, that right back in the corresponding quarter, that does look like the corresponding quarter's profit was higher.